everybody. I'm going to South Carolina, big rally.
My name's Dahlia Myers. I am a councilwoman on the Richland County Council. It is humbling to represent the people who raised me in the area where I grew up. I firmly believe that Bernie has a handle on the absolute danger if we re-elect this man.
Get your ass out and vote.
Initially, I was a Joe Biden supporter. I switched from the Biden campaign to the Sanders campaign because I want to see people motivated to get out and vote for a candidate that they believe in. This campaign's got the movement, we've got the momentum. Somebody's got to take this fight to Donald Trump, and I think Bernie Sanders can do that.
Get your ass out and vote.
The one candidate with a diverse audience, right? With an enthusiastic audience, with a plan for all of the people, all the faces in the audience, those at the top of the well and those at the bottom. It's the Sanders campaign. There is excitement in the campaign. There is an enthusiasm. It's almost unbridled enthusiasm. That excitement is going to drive people to the polls. That enthusiasm is going to make sure that we take 10 people with us to vote. I was one of those people that said that Bernie Sanders was too gruff, right? He's just there's just something about him that's not, it's curmudgeonly, he's not warm and fuzzy, but his plans are warm and fuzzy. His programs are warm and fuzzy. His programs are targeted at giving a voice to the voiceless, making us see those people who've been forgotten. Until we get to a place in America where everybody matters, we got a fight on our hands. And for that kind of fight, you need somebody who will take it on wholesale, no matter where they are socioeconomically. Somebody's got to take this fight to Donald Trump, and I think Bernie Sanders can do that.
Get your ass out and vote.
My parents live in South Carolina, so I came to visit them.
Are they going to vote tomorrow?
Yes, they are going to vote. They were more Biden in the beginning, but they weren't really following, the race. I mean, they just know Biden, Obama, and that's what it was. But I kind of had to, pull them along, tug them along into knowing, hey guys, this is what Bernie stands for. This is why this is going to be important. My mother is battling with MS. She's doing okay right now. No, thank you. She's doing okay right now. It was two. It was the education and healthcare together. Like, hey mom, you always talked about, and I'm going through student loans right now. You've always talked about, the student loans and how unaffordable college is for so many people. This is our time to make a difference, to say, to help people, especially people from a lot of our community. We want to help everyone, but people from our community, we struggle so much.
Do you know who they're voting for tomorrow?
Yes, I do. Bernie Sanders.
Get your ass out and vote.
In South Carolina. Danny Glover, thank you for joining us on Primetime.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Chris.
So first, what's Bernie got that other Democrats don't have, in your opinion?
Well, he has authenticity, for one. He has a history, and that history has been one history of fighting on behalf of working people, of fighting for justice, whether he was senator, whether he was a mayor, wherever it is, whether he was a young student himself who was a part of the civil rights movement, is the part of CORE in Chicago. So there's this history there, and it's consistent as well. And the issues that Bernie brings to the attention, whether it's the cancellation of student debts, whether it's Medicare for all those things are things that really citizens are concerned about. It's not to take anything away from the affordable health care, but certainly there are millions of Americans who are out without health care and without adequate health care as well. I certainly think that this is a moment, a transitional moment, and certainly in the body politics. What has happened is Bernie has furthered the conversation. He's deepened the conversation. And with the deepening of that conversation, I think he's built a movement around this.
Well, there's no question. And we can't sleep on a movement. I argue, personally, I made that mistake in 2016. I underestimated how the president's lack of credentials and his vulgarity would disqualify him when there was such a significant group of people that validated him.
I think the idea that we've changed the dialogue, this whole idea of universal health care has gone on about 100 years in this country. Eleanor Roosevelt, the first lady at the end of World War II, proposed the idea of universal health care.
That's true.
So
Good
what
point.
we've reached, and we've known that and struggled with that. You know, unions, labor unions also fought on the basis of a universal health care. And in fact, imagine what universal health care would have meant if you take health care out of the negotiation or collective bargaining that you would have had.
There's no question.
So here we are at this particular point in time where we know there's a serious issue with that, you know, among so many issues.
I know what you're doing in South Carolina. I know what it means to Bernie's campaign. I wish you good luck with Bernie Sanders.
This ain't the election to sit home and lurk. Get your ass out and vote. 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 Get your ass out and vote.
We are being tested to determine whether or not we have conviction enough. We are being tested to determine whether or not we are bold enough to come together as a people to do what is right, what is just, and what is good in our time. Hello, somebody. So, Aiken, South Carolina, are we ready to do this? Are you committed to getting out there and knocking on some doors? Are you committed to bringing it all the way in? We are going to do this thing. So again, hello somebody. Hello somebody. Hello somebody. All right. So we are willing and ready to make Senator Bernard Sanders the 46th president of the United States of America. We're going to do this one more time. Come on now, Aiken. When I say feel, you say burn. Feel. 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 All right. I hope y'all feeling good.
Yes, ma'am!
Yeah, if you can
We're going to do this thing. All of the naysayers, we're going to do this thing. I love you too, baby. Love you all. We are doing this. Love you too. Thank you. I see you too, baby. We're going to do this thing. You know, these are heavy, heavy times. I don't want you to lose faith and don't lose heart. Don't get weary in well-doing. We are going to be victorious.
Thank you, Aiken. Let me thank Senator Nina Turnham for her introduction. Thank all of you for coming out. With your help, tomorrow, we're going to win here in South Carolina. With your help, we're going to win the Democratic nomination. And with your help, we're going to defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. I'll tell you why we're going to beat Trump. We're going to beat Trump not just because he's a pathological liar. We're going to beat Trump not only because he's running a corrupt administration. We're going to beat Trump not only because he's a racist and a sexist and a homophobe and a xenophobe and a religious bigot. Those are good reasons to beat him, but we're going to beat him for additional reasons. And I'll give you an example, just an example. I want you all to think about this. Everybody here is aware that we have a major international healthcare crisis in terms of the coronavirus, right? And all over the world, countries are figuring out how we can deal with it. Donald Trump is in Charleston, South Carolina today. Do you know why? Do you know why he is here in Charleston, South Carolina? He does not even have any opposition in the Republican primary. I guess they did away with the Republican primary. All right. He is He is here for one reason, and that is to try to disrupt the Democratic primary. Now, can you imagine, in the midst of a global healthcare crisis, when we need a president who's on the phone, talking to scientists, talking to healthcare experts, trying to figure out how we're going to deal with this crisis? He is here in South Carolina for the only reason of trying to disrupt a Democratic primary. How pathetic is that? And that tells you all you need to know about this guy.
Yep.
All right? So we're going to beat him because we are putting together a multi-generational, multi-racial, grassroots movement in every state in this country. Working people in South Carolina, whether you're black or you're white or you're Latino, you know you can't make it on $7.25 an hour. And that's why we're going to raise that minimum wage to $15 an hour. We're going to make sure that all of our kids have a decent education. And we're going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. And all over this country, we have a major, major healthcare crisis. 87 million people have no health insurance or are underinsured, and that crisis is even more acute here in South Carolina. So what we are going to do is what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to all people as a human right. We're going to take on the insurance companies. We're going to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. And we are going to take on the pharmaceutical industry who are ripping us off every single day. We are sick and tired of paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. So today we tell the pharmaceutical industry, you're not going to rip us off anymore. And together, we are going to pass real criminal justice reform and end a system that is broken and racist. I do not want in America to have more people in jail than any other country on earth. We're going to invest in our kids. We're going to invest in jobs. We're not going to invest in jails and more incarceration. And we are going to move forward aggressively on immigration reform. I'm tired of the demonization of the undocumented. And together we are going to pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. Tomorrow is an enormously important day, and I hope very much that we have the largest voter turnout in the history of the South Carolina primary. Donald Trump tries to divide us up based on the color of our skin, based on where we were born, based on our religious beliefs, based on our sexual orientation. If we stand together and demand decent wages for workers, if we stand together and demand health care for all, if we stand together and demand good quality education for all of our kids, if we stand together and demand that we combat climate change, and make sure that we leave this planet healthy and habitable for future generations. If we stand together, not only will we defeat Donald Trump, we'll transform this country. So let us go forward and create an economy and a government that works for all, not just the 1%. Let's go forward and fight for economic justice, social justice, racial justice, and environmental justice. Agent, thank you all very much.